All right, we're back, and I got parts. We're going to reassemble our transmission. And I made an eBay order, and you guys might know that I like my eBay. But let's see, Partzilla has an eBay store, and I made sure and frequent them and took advantage of their shipping discount that you get. I went ahead and grabbed a couple of these dowel pins that, just as an alternative, because I noticed that I marred one just slightly out of round. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And I've got this one circlip that I was not able to get from the Partzilla website, but I was able to get everything else. And so, okay, I got 1, 2, 3, I think. Yeah, I got 3 of these. There's 3 of these circlips or snap rings, and then this one circlip. I might have stated before that I was going to replace the washers. I'm not going to replace the washers. The washers are fine. So I'm going to use your words, Dewey. I'm going to reassemble the transmission here. So I'm putting everything else that I'm not going to be using, that's going to go back as a part of this assembly, back into the bag over here. So let's see here. We're going to reference our parts diagram here. And where we're going to start is going to be on our countershaft side, because I think that might be the most straightforward one. And remember, it's been a couple weeks since we've done this, so I'm going to take a moment and look at this. And if you recall, I put everything back together. Everything that went this way goes back up this way. So obviously we're going to put things on this direction. Let me see here. So working from this side in, we're going to go up like so. And I think these just set on here. Let me look here. From what it shows here, yes, we have. All right, so this is how it works. Here we got to make sure and evaluate what's going to go on where. So that's why we laid it out in the way in which we did. Looking over here at our counter shaft, yes. Because this piece here fits on. Yeah, we don't go on this way, do we? Yeah, we do. Okay. And then we have this piece fitting on this shaft and coming up so far. Now it comes over on this direction. And okay, we're going to take a look at it. All right, I was being silly here. So this washer, as it shows here on the diagram, it goes on to the shaft first. This washer goes on right here, and then we come on to it like so. And we got to make sure our bushing's on there. And I'm going to go back and add a little bit of assembly lube on this as we're going along here. And so the next thing that goes on, and then it slips on this direction. And you can see how that interacts there. So this is this piece, and then our next piece is this wheel, and it comes on. We're going off the diagram here. And this comes over here, and it sets on the shaft up to this point. And it just rides on that piece right there. There's a little oiler right here. And then if you see here, we have, that's a washer. That's a washer there, and that's this washer. That's got the groovings in it. I just got to find the grooves on the shaft. And then that's where our first snap ring comes into play. So here we are. I'm going to open up our snap rings. Look at there, it's in a reusable plastic bag. Let's go over here and take a look. Yep, same snap ring. So that one's decommissioned. We'll come around here, set it up here to a certain point, get our snap ring pliers, and you can see our groove. It's just barely visible. Okay. I can just hang it with my fingernail if I had much of a fingernail. Snap rings. I'm not very versed with snap rings, but as you can tell, I can. Here, I'm going to flip these pliers over so I can get better reach here. The convenience of not doing this while trying to film is a little bit, because I'm working around my camera here, but I think it's important to document this. Okay, so you might not see some of this. Okay, come on, snap ring. Play nice with Dewey. Yeah, I'm hung up down there because I tried to go forward too far. Again, snap ring's not my strong suit. Judge me if you will. Snap ring pliers, not my strong suit either. Alright, there we go. See, I walked it back. And I like to finish these off by putting them into the groove. Bink! There it is. No questions that it's in place. So here we've got the washer, the snap ring, and then our next piece that comes on here like so. And sometimes these have a little bit, I was running into that when I was pre-assembling everything on this one, and it had a little catch on it, so I had to uninstall and reinstall. I think I recall on the E model, on the E model, I went and I had to, I think I might have ran a file on it and deburred it slightly. All right, so here's our piece, and then we have our washer. Bing. And then we have our first gear here, and it's got a bushing on the inside of it. I'm going to install that whopper jaw, and there we go. Very important to have the washers on here. So our counter shaft with our wide ratio gears are installed. How about that? That's cool. So now we're going to move over to our main shaft, and getting this snap ring on is going to be the fun part, because if you remember on our disassembly, our last snap ring, this one here, has to be that side of where it's supposed to be so we can get into this groove. We're going to get there, but how this one goes, it's a little bit special. So looking at this, we got basically, let's see, yeah, everything on this up to this point goes into our bearing. You can see where our bearing goes on here, and here's our first gear. Our first gear is here. And so then we have our fifth gear. Remember, We have no bushing on this one. So, bing, that's good, it's happy. We're looking here, and then we have our first snap ring holding this one in place. All right, here we go again. We're gonna get our replacement snap ring here. You guys don't know how excited I am about this. Not many people are watching this video series. I know this is a long format, a long format video. Putting that right there. Okay. Get our snap rings. It's a long format, and I think it's important so that people understand or get a understanding of how much time goes into doing this. And again, I'm not a professional reel mechanic anyway, so there's that. Okay, so these just barely open it up wide enough, so I'm using my underside of my hand to move this snap ring down the line here. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. But it's my goal to, sorry, I'm moving that out of the frame, folks, is to show you my version and my struggles of doing this, because I'm not a true tech. You know, I'm a guy that went to college and have always been a motorcycle enthusiast, even as a child. And up until about 7 or 8 years ago, doing like engine rebuilds and stuff seemed to be an unattainable thing that I could do here. So I'm just walking that over this other groove. And I'll bump it up here so you can see. Light's not perfect. I got my shop light, mobile light in place. And we're trying to do as best as we can. Yeah, there we go. Or so I thought. There we go. So now, our 5th gear, again, I'm going to push it down. Tink, tink. And I'm going through here and making sure it's in the groove. Okay. So, that's in place. And again, I'm going to go back and give this some lubrication. Very important, even though you're excited. I'm excited here. Very excited. So snap ring, and then we got our, I think this is 3rd gear, but it may be 4th gear. No, it's 3rd gear. What do I know is, how do I know it's 3rd gear? See, that's kind of catching a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to index this off of here, because maybe it's one of those ones where it only wants to go on one way. Oh yeah. Actually, I put it on reverse. I put it on backwards there. And that's probably why it's not happy. That's why we do this, peoples. Because if you look here, that part of it goes on that direction. I was wondering why that was not reaching and fitting in there correctly. Okay, yeah, there we go. Very smooth action. Locks into the dogs and cogs. The dogs, cogs, and logs. Jeez Louise. Okay. And then we got our next snap ring. The snap ring locks in here. I'm going to move the snap ring this direction and wait until we've got this end piece on before I lock it in where it goes. You'll see. You'll see. So again, we're going to go to our bag, because again, we have our first gear, fifth gear there, our snap ring, and then the piece I just damn near put in backwards. And then we have our snap ring. And then we have our fourth gear, and then our second gear, I do believe is what that is. Okay, we're making headway. All right, here's this. Bing, boop. This will make sense in a minute. Things I do to show you guys what I'm doing. Yeah, my mechanic for like cars and stuff, I asked him how he would go about this when I was trying to initially tear down my first one. You see, this is the groove here, is where it's finally going to be. But that's not where we're putting it right now. Okay. So now, looking at this piece, yes. Our dogs face this way because they will interact with these right here when the time comes. You'll see. And then now our smooth edge faces forward on our final gear. Well, it is not happy about that. It is not happy. And I did not silence my phone. We're going to silence Mr. Phone. There we go. Yeah. I'm not happy with how... Here, I'll show you here. I'm not happy with how that slid on there, so I'm going to try and index it around. And again, it might be a slight deburring process that we're going through here. Much happier with that. Okay, now we're going to decommission this part. All right. And where's our final ring? I set him over here just a second ago. There it is. And this one's the non-Partzilla, wherever the heck I got it from. Sorry, Partzilla, you didn't have it. And this one's, I might have to be a little bit of a brute. Is it, because if you can see here, I don't have snap ring or circlip pliers. I don't know if there are circlip pliers. And quite frankly, I probably could have reused the one in which the ones in which I've had on here, because I had to be rather brutish to get this off of here. So Somebody's probably going to beat me up in the comments like, Dewey, why didn't you do it like this? I'm like, look, I'm doing the best I can, peoples. So it's probably going to end up being a brute force type situation again. But I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me struggle. I'm going to get it on there and then I'll be back. All right, we're back. And looky here. I had to do a little bit of levering it on there with the, I used the combination of the snap ring pliers, these needle nose, and I kind of levered it a little bit with the universal tool of all universal tools, the standard screwdriver. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and install that final snap ring the correct way. There we go. We've got this gear, which I think, yeah, it's second gear over here. And then we have our fourth gear here. I'm moving it this direction. Moving it all the way out to the end. Okay, I think we're there. And then what we've got to do, I think I might need my other tool if I'm going to use the snap rings on it, snap ring pliers, but I may be able to, let's see where we're at. I don't know if you can see down here or not, but there's just the slightest groove right here. We got to move the snap ring into the groove. I'm going to try to pull it off. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the pliers real quick. Is it going to let me? Yeah, it might going to let me. I think, yeah, over here, I've got my different pieces on for my snap ring pliers here. I'm just going to set that here. Where's my reachy arms? See, look. We're almost there, and I'm excited about it, but I've got to be excited in a smart way. See, these are a little tweaked. So we're going to try to use this appendage. Okay, and what I got to do is get to, let's see if I can roll this slightly. It's not going to let me. Crap. I'll just try to lever this over just some, because I need to be able to get room and get away from this piece. As a matter of fact, since I've already bastardized this enough, I'm just going to lever this over so far and maybe even completely bypass the snap ring pliers. But we might not, because all this has to do is settle over into its gap. Yeah, I know the purists are going to tear me apart for this, but so be it. I'll accept that. You probably drive one of these DRZs with an extended swing arm. Tassels hanging from the handlebars. It's probably lowered, and you're probably saying, man, I'm going to have a FCR 41 on here to try to get the big horsepower. Bang. Got our engagement here. Got our engagement with our big fifth gear. Bang, right there. It's held in place. This is doing everything it's supposed to be doing. Oh, I'll let that come off of there and ruin the shot. These slide along how they're supposed to, and they're engaging how they're supposed to. This is going to set a certain way in here. And so we've got our engagement and disengagement how we're supposed to. Look at there, we got a ACT wide ratio transmission. So what I'm going to do, look at there. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate this up, put it in a bag. I might even clean it up a little bit, but I'm going to put this and have it isolated. I'm real excited about this. We have a wide ratio transmission assembled. Woo! That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.